I used your college fund to buy our dream house. That's what my sister-in-law told me, with a laugh. 600,000. Money my grandmother spent her whole life saving for me. Gone. At least that's what she thought. What she didn't know is I'd been preparing for her. Every forged signature, every fake call to the bank, every lie she whispered to my brother. I had it all. She thought I was the quiet one in the family. But sometimes the quiet ones are the most dangerous to underestimate. And by the time she realized it, it was already too late. I used your college fund to put a down payment on our dream house. Lena's voice slithered through the speaker like warm oil on a cold floor, slow, smug, and impossible to ignore. You were never going to finish that vet degree anyway, Rachel. It's time to grow up and face reality. I stood still in my Denver kitchen, hand gripping the edge of the granite counter, knuckles white. For a second, I didn't breathe. I didn't speak. I just let her words hang in the air like smoke. Then I answered steady. Interesting. And how exactly did you manage that? She laughed, light, victorious, cruel. Tyler still had access to the account from when your grandma set it up. All I needed was his signature. I could hear the click of her heels as she likely admired herself in one of those full-length mirrors she'd obsessed over. The place is beautiful, by the way. Much better use of the money than some fantasy about rescuing animals. My name is Rachel Monroe. I'm 34. I've spent the last decade working as a tax accountant, paying off family debt after mom and dad's divorce, putting my dream of becoming a vet on indefinite pause. But that dream never left. It waited quietly, like a loyal dog at the door. And Lena? She married my brother Tyler 4 months ago after a whirlwind 2-week romance. I knew something felt off the moment she walked into our family dinner wearing a designer dress and that predatory smile. Well, I said, reaching for my laptop, thanks for letting me know. I hope you enjoy the house. That's it? Her voice pitched up in disbelief. No freakout? No tears? Where's the drama, Rachel? But I was already logging into my email. And there it was, the confirmation I'd been waiting for. My attorney, Dana Harris, had successfully moved the entire education fund to a protected trust 2 weeks ago. Lena's attempt to access it had been blocked and documented. My grandmother always said, trust your instincts, but verify your accounts. She built a financial planning firm from the ground up and taught me every trick in the book before she passed, including how to recognize a forged signature. I clicked on the folder marked Lena Caldwell Attempts and scrolled through the time-stamped entries. Every login, every document upload, every phone call Lena had made pretending to be me, it was all there. I picked up my phone and dialed Dana. We got the call, I said. Perfect timing, Dana replied. The bank's fraud team has everything. Her attempt was sloppy, and Tyler's signature, clearly coerced. Do you want to proceed legally? I paused. Tyler had always been my protector, the big brother who picked me up from middle school when Dad forgot, who taught me to drive, who showed up with coffee the night before my SATs. Now, he was married to a woman who made high school bullies look like amateurs. Not yet, I said. Let's wait. Let her think she won. I want to see what she does next. When the call ended, I walked to my home office. From the bottom drawer, I pulled out a weathered envelope labeled Grandma June, her last letter to me, written just weeks before she passed. I left you this money because I believed in you, Rachel. Don't let anyone tell you it's too late, or too hard, or that you're not enough, especially not someone who's only ever seen your silence and mistaken it for weakness. I traced her signature with my thumb, heart steady. Lena thought she stole my future, but all she really did was activate it. 3 weeks before Lena made her move, I had already moved first. The education fund, $612,000 to be exact, was no longer sitting in the original bank account. I'd worked with Dana to relocate it into a secure, interest-bearing trust under my name alone, protected by legal layers Lena couldn't begin to understand. I made that decision the evening Lena brought up my unfinished degree over Sunday dinner. It wasn't the first time, but the way she phrased it that night, "You ever think about just letting that go?" sent a quiet alarm through me. She smiled as she passed the mashed potatoes, but her eyes were too sharp, too focused. She wasn't curious. She was casing the joint. Grandma June warned me about people like her, the ones who compliment your dream just to measure how much it's worth. So I activated the contingency plan Grandma and I had talked about years ago, back when I was 20 and she was teaching me how to spot inconsistencies in tax records. Assets are like animals, Rachel. If you don't protect them, someone will always try to claim them. Dana was ready. She knew exactly how to build an airtight wall around the fund. Every access attempt, every login, every time Lena or Tyler tried to peek in, it was all tracked. And yes, Tyler's name had been on the original account, from when he was still a college co-signer and I was 17. But legal access expired the moment I turned 25. He never bothered to remove his name, and I never reminded him. Part of me always knew I might need that oversight. When Lena married Tyler, I gave it 6 months. It only took 4. I didn't want to believe my brother could be that naive. But I knew Lena wasn't dumb. She wasn't going to come at me with threats or guilt. She'd charm her way in, use Tyler, play the role of caring sister-in-law, probe gently, smile sweetly. But I was watching, and more importantly, I was documenting. Dana had already collected 3 forged signature attempts on transfer documents, 2 impersonation calls to the bank, a digital footprint that placed Lena on my account portal using Tyler's tablet, a series of emails to a realtor about guaranteed funds. It was a trap, yes, but not the kind Lena thought she set. It was mine. And the only thing left was to wait for Friday, the day she told the realtor the funds would land. Let her feel victorious. Let her think she stole my future. Because when the money didn't show up and the lies started unraveling, that's when the real show would begin. Friday came like a storm front, not loud but heavy with pressure. I woke up early, made coffee the way Grandma taught me. Strong, black, no frills. My inbox was already blinking with 3 emails from Lena. Subject lines like, "Call me now," "Something's wrong with the bank," "Did you move the money?" I didn't respond. Instead, I poured my coffee into my favorite mug, the one that said, "Rescue is my favorite breed," and watched the sun stretch over the Denver skyline. Calm, prepared, unbothered. Then came the texts, first from Lena, frantic, then from Tyler, confused. Lena, "You need to fix this. The transfer didn't go through. We could lose the house." Tyler, "Rach, is this a mistake? The realtor says they never got the funds." Lena again, "Answer me, what did you do?" I put the phone face down and opened my medical school prep folder. Flashcards, notes, interview questions. I had work to do. I didn't need to scream. I didn't need to explain. Silence in moments like this is power. By 1 p.m., Dana had texted me. "They tried 3 more times. Everything's logged. I'll compile the final report Monday." By 4 p.m., Lena called. I let it ring. Voicemail followed. Her voice, no longer smug, cracked at the edges. "Rachel, you need to call me back. I don't know what happened. The realtor is threatening to pull out. Tyler doesn't know what to do. Please, can we just talk?" I listened to it once, then deleted it. I thought about Grandma again. Sometimes letting people think they won is the best way to watch them lose on their own timeline. By 6 p.m., I got one more message from Tyler. "Tyler, are you mad at me? I swear I didn't know what Lena was planning. I just thought we were helping the family." Helping the family. I wanted to scream. Instead, I opened a new page in my journal and wrote, "Helping family doesn't mean enabling theft." Then I turned off my phone, finished my flashcards, let the city fall into dusk while Lena spun in a web she had woven herself. Sometimes silence isn't the absence of a voice. It's the clearest answer you can give. Saturday morning arrived with the weight of silence. Tyler finally called just after 10. His voice cracked slightly, the way it used to when we were kids, and he knew he messed up but wasn't ready to admit it. "Rach, hey, can we talk?" I was already expecting this. "Sure," I said flat. "Talk." He cleared his throat. "Lena says there was some kind of glitch with the transfer. The bank didn't release the funds. She thinks maybe you moved the money?" I waited a beat. "Do you want the truth, Tyler? Or do you want to keep pretending Lena didn't try to steal it?" Silence. Long. Painful. Then, "It wasn't like that. She thought you weren't using it. I mean, you've been out of school for years. You have a job. So that justifies forging documents? Pretending to be me on the phone with the bank?" She said it was just temporary, that once the house closed, we could refinance and put the money back. I wanted to laugh, but there was nothing funny about any of it. "Tyler, do you even hear yourself? She tried to steal over $500,000 from me, and she used you to do it." He sighed, the kind of sigh that came from shame and confusion. "I didn't know, I swear. She told me she just needed my signature for mortgage paperwork. I didn't even read it. I trusted her." "You trusted the wrong person." There was a long pause. "Can I come over?" "Yes, bring the original paperwork she had you sign, and your tablet." When he arrived an hour later, he looked like he hadn't slept. His hoodie was wrinkled, his hair unkempt, and the light in his eyes was dimmer than I'd ever seen. He sat across from me at my kitchen island, his shoulders slumped. "I feel like a fool." "You weren't a fool, Ty. You were manipulated. There's a difference." I opened my laptop and showed him the documents Lena had submitted. "See this signature? It doesn't match the way you write your why. And this date? You were at my place that afternoon. You never left." He leaned in, squinting. "She told me it was just an authorization for the realtor." I pulled up the audio recording Dana had managed to retrieve. Lena, pretending to be me, speaking to the bank. Tyler's face paled. "Oh my God." "There's more. I have access logs from your tablet. She used it while you were logged in. The IP matches." He buried his face in his hands. "Why would she do this?" I paused, then pulled out a slim folder. "Because she's not new to this. Look, bank records, credit card debt, 3 maxed out lines of credit, 2 personal loans, over $180,000 in liabilities, all in her name, all hidden. She said she had a bonus coming, that it would clear soon. I gently pushed the folder closer. Tyler, there is no bonus, just lies. He looked broken, smaller than I'd ever seen him. My big brother, the one who used to lift me onto his shoulders to reach the cookie jar, was crumbling. What do I do? First, see the truth. Then, decide who you want to protect, your wife or yourself. He closed the folder. I want to fix it, all of it. I want to make this right, Rachel. I nodded slowly. Then we start here, with the truth. Outside, the wind shifted, and for the first time in weeks, I saw something clear in my brother's eyes. Doubt, beginning to turn into resolve. Sunday afternoon. I barely had time to sip my second cup of coffee when Tyler texted, "We're coming over. She wants to talk." I didn't reply, just slid the folder back onto the counter and reopened my laptop. 20 minutes later, I heard the knock. Tyler looked exhausted. Lena, not so much. She waltzed in like nothing had happened, her lips painted in a shade too bold for sincerity. Her eyes scanned my apartment, probably checking for weaknesses. Rachel, she said, voice syrupy, let's clear this up. There's been a huge misunderstanding. I motioned to the chairs. Then let's sit. She perched on the edge of the chair like she was posing for a brand campaign. Tyler, meanwhile, sat back, arms crossed, waiting. I turned the laptop toward them. This, I said, clicking on the first document, is the transfer request sent to the bank. Lena glanced at it, nonchalant. Tyler signed that. Did he? I raised an eyebrow. Because this Y doesn't match any other sample of his signature, and the bank flagged it immediately. She opened her mouth, but I clicked again. The audio clip began playing. Lena's voice, pretending to be me, spelling out my social, trying to convince the agent she needed to reroute the funds. Tyler turned slowly toward her. What was that? They must have spliced it, AI or something. That's not... I interrupted. Here are the access logs from your tablet, Tyler. Same time, same IP. I clicked again. Another file. Dana had been thorough. Then I dropped the folder onto the table. Credit card debt, casino withdrawals, loans. Lena, this wasn't about helping the family. This was about saving yourself. She slammed her hands on the table. You had the money just sitting there while you played make-believe about med school. I thought maybe you'd finally give up the fantasy. It wasn't yours to take. You don't need it. You have a job. You have a condo. Tyler and I, we needed a fresh start. Tyler stood up, slowly, like gravity had just doubled in the room. Is that why you lied to me? About the bonus? About the paperwork? Baby, please, you know how much pressure we were under. I was going to fix it. Once we got the house, With what? Another lie? Another loan? His voice cracked. She tried to take his hand. He stepped back. You forged my name. You used me. You almost destroyed my sister's future. It was just money. Tyler stared at her. No, it was trust. The room fell silent. Then he said low and final, get out. Lena's face twisted. You're making a mistake. You think she's innocent? She set this up. She wanted to ruin us. I said nothing, just closed the laptop. She looked at me one last time, hatred behind that polished facade. This isn't over. Then she grabbed her purse and walked out. The door shut like a gavel falling. Tyler sank into the chair, face in his hands. I don't even know who I married. I placed the folder beside him. You married someone who underestimated both of us. He looked up, hollow. I should have seen it. Now you do, and that changes everything. The silence after Lena left wasn't peaceful. It throbbed. Tyler sat at the counter, still staring at the closed door like it might open again and reveal a different ending. I poured him a glass of water and slid it toward him. What now? He asked, voice hoarse. Now we build the case. Dana called that evening. She'd been monitoring Lena's credit activity. There were more red flags. She tried applying for a personal loan using Rachel's social. Denied. Triggered a fraud alert. That makes it the third strike. Third? She's done this before. Dana emailed over a police report. Different state, different name, same playbook. Lena had once been Madeline Clark, married a widower, emptied his retirement, disappeared before the charges could stick. Before that, she was Elena Whitman. The details matched like puzzle pieces. She didn't just stumble into this. She perfected it. Tyler sat motionless as I read the reports aloud. She was always 2 steps ahead, he murmured. I thought she was spontaneous, passionate. Turns out she was just practiced. We spent the next 2 days gathering everything. Screenshots, recordings, financial logs, copies of emails, and text messages. Dana built the file, thick and irrefutable. Lena, meanwhile, went quiet. Until Wednesday. Tyler got the call. Unknown number, he answered out of instinct. It was her. Ty, it wasn't supposed to go like this. You don't understand. Rachel set me up. She's been watching me since day 1. I motioned for him to put it on speaker. You lied to me, Tyler said, voice trembling. I made mistakes, but I love you. Doesn't that mean anything? He said nothing. She pressed on. If we act now, we can still fix this. I found a lawyer. He says we can settle if Rachel agrees to mediation. No press, no police. I spoke for the first time. Tell your lawyer we'll see him in court. There was a sharp inhale, then the line went dead. Tyler didn't speak for a long while. Then he looked at me. We press charges. I nodded. We file tomorrow. That night, I opened my med school interview confirmation. My file was complete. My recommendations, my prerequisites, everything perfectly aligned. And on top of it all, the funding Lena tried to steal still intact. Because I planned. Because Grandma June taught me how to see lies before they smiled. Because I refused to let a beautiful con artist rewrite my future. Thursday morning, Dana submitted the full report to law enforcement. By noon, a warrant had been issued. By evening, Lena was gone. Disappeared. Until Saturday. I got the alert. She'd been caught at the airport in Phoenix with a fake passport under the name Emily Carter. Trying to flee. Her lie had collapsed. And now? Justice was finally catching up. 2 months later, I stood in front of the mirror in my hallway. The fabric was crisp. White, clean, weighted with meaning. I slipped my arms into the sleeves of the medical school coat, the one that bore my name, Rachel Monroe, DVM candidate. I had earned it, every hour, every choice, every fight. And today I wore it not for the lab, but for the courtroom. Ready? Tyler asked from the doorway. He looked stronger now. Sleep returned to his eyes. There was no ring on his hand, no shadows in his voice. We walked into the Boulder County Courthouse side by side, and we weren't alone. 3 other families had come forward. Different names, same pattern. Lena had been Madeline, Elena, Emily. She changed identities the way most people change shoes. But the damage she left behind? Always the same. Broken bank accounts, broken promises, broken trust. Inside, Dana waited with a thick binder, color-coded tabs, timelines, hard evidence. They have everything, she said. There won't be any wiggle room. I nodded. My coat felt like armor. When they brought Lena in, she was almost unrecognizable. No makeup, no designer heels, beige jumpsuit, cuffed hands. Her eyes scanned the courtroom, calculated, defiant. But when she saw the families lining the benches, her face faltered. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This was reckoning. The prosecutor laid out the charges: multiple counts of fraud, identity theft, financial abuse, and attempted wire fraud. Then the testimonies began. Each family told their version of Lena's lies, their retirement funds, their children's college savings, their futures. When it was Tyler's turn, he stood tall. She made me believe I was her partner, he said. But I was just another access point, another signature, another tool. He glanced at me, voice steady. She tried to steal my sister's future, a future our grandmother spent her life saving for. That money wasn't just cash, it was a promise, a purpose, a legacy. Then it was my turn. I walked to the stand. The judge glanced at my coat. You're a medical student? Veterinary medicine, I start this fall. He nodded. I faced the courtroom. I was lucky to have a grandmother who taught me to protect myself. Lucky to have a lawyer who believed in me. Lucky to catch the theft before it succeeded. I looked at Lena. But this isn't about luck. It's about accountability. Lena doesn't just steal money. She steals time, dreams, belief, and she almost convinced my brother to help her do it. I held up the letter Grandma June had written me. She believed I could make it. She believed in the quiet ones, the steady ones, the underestimated ones. I folded it gently. That belief is still alive, and no one, not even Lena, gets to take that from me. The judge called for recess. Outside, Tyler exhaled. You were incredible. I shrugged. I just told the truth. He smiled. You made Grandma proud today. The wind rustled the edge of my coat. I looked down at the stitched lettering. Rachel Monroe. It was more than a name. It was proof that no matter who tries to rewrite your story, you can still claim the ending yourself. The courtroom was still when the judge returned. No rustling, no whispers. Just the weight of what was about to be spoken. Lena sat at the defense table, arms crossed tightly, jaw clenched. That confidence she always wore like perfume, gone. The judge cleared his throat. On the charges of wire fraud, identity theft, attempted financial exploitation, and obstruction of justice, this court finds the defendant, Lena Caldwell, guilty on all counts. A collective breath left the room. The sentence: 5 years in state prison without possibility of early release. Full restitution to all named victims. Court-supervised monitoring for 10 years post-release. Lena's head dropped. Then she looked up, straight at me. This changes nothing, she hissed. You still won't make it. Playing pretend in a white coat won't make you a doctor. I stood slowly. No, I said. But doing the work will. Showing up every day. Studying, failing, growing, trying again. That's what makes someone real. She laughed, bitter. You're just a number in a system, a do-gooder who caught a lucky break. Then I guess I'm proof that even the quiet ones get their moment. The bailiff led her away, and just like that, the chapter closed. Tyler and I walked out of the courtroom into sunlight that felt different, sharper, brighter, honest. He reached into his pocket. I found this. He held out the engagement ring he'd bought for Lena. It's fake, he said softly. Glass instead of diamond, like everything else about her. What do you want to do with it? He handed it to me. Sell it, add it to your tuition fund. Let one more piece of her lies become something real. I took it gently. That night, back home, I placed the ring next to my acceptance letter. And next to both, a photo of Grandma June. Tyler texted me an hour later. Thank you for never giving up on me, even when I believed the wrong person. I stared at the message and replied, You're still my brother. You were just in the dark. Now you're not. The next morning, I started packing for California. My first day at UC Davis School of Veterinary Medicine was in 6 days. As I folded scrubs into my suitcase, I paused, slipped the ring into a small velvet pouch, not as a reminder of Lena, but as a symbol of how close I came to losing it all, and how I didn't. Because I planned, because I remembered, because I believed. And because sometimes, the best kind of justice isn't just watching someone fall. It's rising, fully and finally, into who you were always meant to become. Not everyone gets the chance to reclaim their dream after someone tries to steal it. But I did. Not with noise, but with preparation. Not with rage, but with truth. Not with revenge, but with a quiet refusal to give up. Because sometimes, the most powerful kind of justice isn't watching them fall. It's rising anyway. If you've ever been betrayed, overlooked, or told your dream was foolish, remember, your story isn't over. Share your story in the comments. Someone out there needs to hear it. And if you believe quiet strength can rewrite any ending, subscribe to The Quiet Rise, where every silent victory becomes a voice of its own.